Assalamu alaikum, guys. Welcome to the first ever Q&A session with Sayyid Mustafa Kazwini. This is a new program we just started. We thought it would be a good idea. Before we get started, Sayyid Ali will recite, inshallah, a few verses from the Quran. It's here.
Assalamu alaikum. Okay, inshallah, tonight I'm going to be reading the first page and a half of Surah Al-Waqi'ah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا وقعت الواقعة ليس لوقعتها كاذبة خافضة رافعة إذا رجت الأرض رجا وبست الجبال بسا فكانت هباء منبثا وكنتم أزواجا ثلاثة فأصحاب الميمنة ما أصحاب الميمنة وأصحاب المشأمة ما أصحاب المشأمة والسابقون السابقون أولئك المقربون في جنات النعيم ثلة من الأولين وقليل من الآخرين على سرر موضونة متكئين عليها متقابلين يطوف عليهم ولدان مخلدون بأكواب وأباريق وكأس من معين لا يصدعون عنها ولا ينزفون وفاكهة مما يتخيرون ولحم طير مما يشتهون وحور عين كأمثال اللؤلؤ المكنون جزاء بما كانوا يعملون لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا تأثيما إلا قيلا سلاما سلاما وأصحاب اليمين ما أصحاب اليمين في سدر مخضود وطلح منضود وظل ممدود وماء مسكوب وفاكهة كثيرة لا مقطوعة ولا ممنوعة وفرش مرفوعة إنا أنشأناهن إنشاء فجعلناهن أبكارا عربا أترابا لأصحاب اليمين ثلة من الأولين وثلة من الآخرين صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات.
Beautiful recitation by Imam Inshallah, we'll please welcome on stage Sayyid Mustafa Kazwini. Please welcome him with a loud salawat.
I'm putting my iPhone on airplane mode, so please follow me in this. Follow me in this. No more disturbance. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, first of all, I've been away from these youth gatherings for a long, long time. So I guess this is my second coming, just like Jesus when he comes again, you know. So I'm very glad that I am back with the future leaders of our society, our community, those who are very intellectual, academician, those who go to universities and learn science and philosophy and religion and other subjects. So I guess our discussions are going to be intellectual discussion tonight. But as a startup and a warm-up, a warmer to the discussion, I'd like to ask a question. Before I receive questions from your end, I'd like to ask a question of mine, and I hope we can have a very candid discussion and candid answer to this question. But let me say, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ahli baytihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. So we know that we have a generation gap between the children and their parents. Most of our children in this country, they hail from immigrant families. Our parents, probably our grandparents, came to this country from different cultures. And they were not American. They were not familiar with the American culture, the pop culture. They came here, they brought their children here. Children went to schools and universities, and they developed a special mindset. And therefore we have a clash between these generations. There is no single family that I know that they are not suffering from this clash between the old generation and the new generation. Some of these clashes are very severe. It leads sometimes, in some cases, into violence. Violent confrontation between the parents and the children. Sometimes it's very mild. But there is this generation gap. It does exist. This is a reality. So let me ask you, what would you say to your mother or to your father who you think that they are putting a pressure on you? This is too much. What they are asking you, what they are expecting from you is too much. What would you say to them? What would you advise them? How do you want your mother, your father to behave with you, to interact with you? What sort of problems your parents have? Because we always speak about the problems that the children have. But sometimes we forget that it's not all about the children. It has to do with the parents. So be frank with me and share with me, and then we will take your questions. So this is my question to you. And I want you to participate. Here there is no surveillance, alhamdulillah. Surveillance cameras, other than only 5 cameras. No more, alhamdulillah. Doesn't pick the sound. So as long as we are not, fist fighting, it's okay. So be free, open your mind, your soul, and educate me. I'm a father and a grandfather too. And I speak to the congregation almost once a day. I have a speech, I have a presentation. Many people sit, many people listen. Many of them are mothers, many of them are fathers. They have families. And they have a dilemma with their families. They have a problem. Most of the discussions that takes place in the office, it's about family counseling. It's about we having a son, a daughter who are not listening. They are not good. They are not following religion. They are not respecting the family values, and so on and so forth. So now we want you to tell us how to educate our parents about us. How we want them to treat us, because I, myself, I acknowledge, I confess that there is a lot of a pressure in this culture, in the Western culture. There is a lot of pressure on the young generation, especially the girls, especially you guys. There is a lot of peer pressure. Life is not normal here. It's really not normal. It's very demanding. The school is demanding, the family is demanding, the friends are demanding, the social media is demanding. There is a lot of pressure on us. So how do we educate our parents? What should we tell them? If I have a chance to speak to my mother, to my father, to my elders, to my imam, who's supposed to educate the community, what should I say? What is the problem and what is the solution? Tell me the problem and tell me about the solution too, in your opinion. Yalla, let's begin. Say loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. I'm waiting to hear from you. These are for the questions. These are for the Q&A. So these are for the questions. But now we need live discussion about what should we tell our parents? Remind them of what? What is their responsibility? How should they behave with us? How should they talk to us? How should they approach us? How should they understand us? Please, let's begin. Who is the bravest among you all? Yes, Atiyya, Taqiyya. Exactly. So point number one that Atiyya raises is that a dialogue is important, not one side commands and orders from the parents. They must sit together and dialogue with each other. And the parents should tell their children why I'm asking you to do this, the reason behind it. So this is a very good point, Atiyya. Thank you. Please, Amir. So dialogue number one and listening number two. What else? What else? How should the parents approach their children if there is a problem, outstanding problem in the family? If they see something that they don't like, how should they approach their children? Yes, sister, you raised your hand? No? The one behind you? Halfway through you raised. So listening with open-mindedness. Okay. Being open-minded. Okay, good point. Yes, sister? Good point. Excellent point. Put the ego aside. Whether you are a father, a mother, a son, a daughter, old, young, put the ego aside and listen with humility to the other person. Don't give lectures. Don't assume that everything you say is right and everything your son or your daughter is saying is wrong. Don't go with this assumption. This is a wrong assumption. Listen. Listen, sometimes you can take a good advice from a 10-year-old boy or girl. They can educate others. What else? What else what message we should send to our parents from the sister's side? Are you all happy with your parents? Be honest with me. Nobody is judging here, huh? Nobody is judging you here. Nobody is judging you. Speak your mind. Be free. Be free. Don't be diplomatic. These sessions with the seniors, it could be diplomatic. We don't say everything because it will create a problem. But with the young generation, it should be very open, very candid, very authentic, very true, very honest, in order for us to understand each other. Yes, sister, please.
I think another thing is if a parent has a rule for of a girl or a girl, she should also have the rule for the boy. A lot of the times there are more strict rules on a girl, and if there is that, then it should also be applied to the boy.
You are absolutely right. We have this discrimination, gender discrimination, that what is halal for the boy is haram for the girl. What is okay for the boy, he can do this, he can go there, he can drink this, he can go, stay over at his friend's house, he can have a girlfriend, it's okay, he's a boy, he's a man. But no, for the girl, it's not good. There's a stigma. She shouldn't do that. So there are, yes, you are true, there are more restrictions in our societies on girls than boys. This is why I said in the beginning, there is more pressure on the females here in this country, more than the boys. Boys have a freedom. At age 15, 16, they get their driver's license, they take off. God knows where they go. But for the girl, her mother has to drop her here, pick her up, because but if they are doing wrong, then both of them are wrong. Not only it's wrong for the girls, and it is right for the boy. A wrong is wrong. A wrong and right are genderless. Genderless. So we cannot judge the girl and say that you have more responsibility. No, the boy has equal responsibilities. Al-mu'minuna wal-mu'minat ba'duhum awliya'u ba'd. They are equal in their responsibilities. Good point. What else? Sometimes you get angry at your parents, very angry, dissatisfied. You start yelling at them. Sometimes it gets into very unfortunate, scenes, domestic violence. So how should we deal with this? Why your parents are so harsh with you? What should you tell them? You tell them, leave me alone, don't talk to me? Do you want them to talk to you? Do you want them to leave you alone? Do you want more freedom from your parents? They are not giving you more freedom. They are not, trusting you. They don't trust your judgment. They don't trust your maturity. They don't trust your choice. What is the problem? Because you're going to be a father and a mother soon. Soon, 3-4 years. You're going to be parents. So what would you do with your children? Yes, sister.
I think it's important to kind of initiate these kinds of conversations where you talk about, almost like the controversial things, the pressures of the world, just having, again, that open dialogue, so that they can understand where we're coming from, and so you can actually fix any problems.
More dialogue, open dialogue, but how do you make your parents who come from a traditional background, from Iran, Pakistan, India, Afghanistan, Egypt, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, Morocco, they come from villages, from traditional societies, conservative societies, religious societies. How do you make them open up to this new society, to the realities of this society? How do you convince them? What do you say to them? For instance, if you want to go and live in another city. He got accepted in the East Coast, Northern California, another state. And you really want to go to that school. You love that school. You love that program there. And your mother is worried. Your father is hesitant. What would you say? Would you listen to their advice? Or would you convince them that what I'm doing is right? This is for my future. What do we do in this case? Yes, Ibrahim.
I don't think it's so much of what you say to them, it's more about how you can prove it to them. And this is a year-long or years-long process where you have to start at a very early age that you show them that you follow your religion, you pray 5 times a day, and you're not doing anything haram behind your back. So they know genuinely inside that you have good intentions if you're going to live somewhere.
But some people, they pray 5 times a day, but when it comes to relationship with the opposite gender, they cannot control themselves. They cannot control their desires. So what would you say? Who has an answer to this? Nobody is perfect, but also how do you convince your mother that, listen, I'm going to be clean and safe, don't worry about me. You know, nobody is going to exploit me. Nobody is going to take advantage of me. You know, you cannot trust me on this. How do you convince them? How do you trust your daughter? Suppose you have a daughter who's 18, 19, 20, and she wants to go to out of state school. How do you convince yourself that she's safe now? I can leave her. Myself, because I know myself. I know myself very well. I know my weaknesses. I know the points of strength I have, and I know my weaknesses too. So I know. But how do you do this with your son, with your daughter tomorrow? What signs you should see in them that you have peace of mind, that they are not going to betray their values when they are left alone? So not all children to be trusted. Not all of them. It's case by case. You agree with me? It's case by case. This is what the children should understand as well as the parents. Because sometimes they say, my cousin, she's younger than me. She went to medical school somewhere else. My friend, why not me? My friend, she was my roommate. We went to school together. So why her parents, they trusted her and you are not trusting me? They start comparing themselves to others. Yes, Atiyah. Very good question. What we do? What do we do with a child that you have a problem trusting him or her? Do we do the old traditional style, as she said, lock them in the house, in the room, don't give them any keys, monitor them 24/7, okay? Don't buy them a car, don't give them an iPhone, don't even allow them to use their computers? What we do? What would we do? I'd like to hear the answer. I know the answer, but this is a discussion. We'd like to hear the answer. Yes?
I think in many times the kid is in that situation, it oftentimes does come from a failure of the parent to properly explain the doctrine that they were teaching their kids growing up. And once a kid reaches a certain point, like once a kid hits 21 and they're in with the wrong path and they're doing the wrong things, oftentimes there isn't much you can do. Like,
So there is no remedy?
it's very difficult at a certain once it reaches a certain point.
So what do we do in this specific situation? The son, he wants to leave the house, to be independent, to go elsewhere, to study, to work. But the mother, the father, they can't trust the son because he does drugs, because he does sex, because he commits probably sometimes crimes, theft, murder, rape. So what do we do in this case? Yeah, it happens. What do you do in this case? As a father, what would you do? Do you give him his freedom, her freedom, and say, I have no more responsibilities because this is not my son anymore? So I disavow my son and tell him, yeah. What do you do?
I think in certain situations, like any person, even a parent, isn't well equipped to deal with certain issues. So if let's say you have a situation where your kid is involved with criminal activities, involved with drugs, at a certain point you just have to lend them over to professional help. You have to take them to a doctor. You have to take them to a specialist. No parent is, unless if they're trained in that specific field, is well equipped to deal with those problems.
Do you agree with his answer, with Amir's answer? They need professional help? Yes, Atiyah?
But then, what if it's not drugs and criminal activity where they would need professional help? What if it's just things that are haram but accepted in society?
What do you say about that? It's the norm in the society. He says, I'm not doing something illegal. Even if you call the police, they say, well, he's free. He's 18, he's 19, he's 20. He's not doing something illegal as far as the law is concerned. So what do you do in this case? It could be ethically wrong, legally okay, but ethically wrong. You say, this is my family's value, this is my religion's value. Yes, Muhammad.
Like what you shouldn't do is try to lock them in a room because like strict parents are just gonna go out and see your children. You're just gonna find a way around your restrictions.
So what do we do in this specific case? That they are not doing drugs, no smoking, no drugs, no theft, but they have a problem with sexuality, let's say. They have a problem with drinking alcohol. Alcohol is okay in this country, no problem, as long as you are 18 or how? 21. So he's 21. The day he turns 21, what do you do in this case? Do you set them free? Yes, sister. What's your name? Zahra.
I'm not sure if this mosque offers it, but I've seen other mosques offer family counseling. So what family probably would do is just make an appointment with the counselor at that mosque, and they can just have an open discussion with the help of a professional third party.
But she is saying that these things are not illegal. They are the norm in the society. So the family therapists are going to tell him or her, don't get involved in sex. If she's, let's say, 22, 23, 24, 25, she's doing her master's degree.
I'm talking about like family counseling in a mosque, where the professional person there.
Yeah, I'm asking you, does she, even if she works in the mosque or the church, would she tell someone who's 25 years old, don't do these things? Or she would go with the norms of the society? What would you think?
I mean, having the setting in a mosque, then I think it would give the authority to that person, the professional counselor, to advise that person to do it. Because they're employed by the mosque and they grow up with Islamic community. So I feel like in that situation, that professional person can say that.
But they have to be careful of what they say, so they don't encroach on the law of the land. Yes, sister, next to you. Yes. And which is?
I feel like at certain point, like with parents, is that they teach you their way at a certain point, but then when it comes to like let's say you're 21, 22, it's gonna be you at the end. If you want to do bad things, then that's your life. You want to live it like that. I feel like parents did their job as teaching you what is important in life.
So they should not interfere with their children if they are 21.
No,
Leave them, set them free.
I don't. Well, it's their life. They're gonna if they get in trouble at one point, if they go to jail, they're gonna know that their parents they should have listened to their
But when they go to jail, who's going to pay the bail? To bail them out? Who's going to go to the court with them?
probably their parents.
So parents are still responsible. They have to pay out of their pocket. They have to go to speak to the judge. They have to hire an attorney. It's not the one who's 21 years old. They have to bear the consequences, the parents too. So can they say to their children, on the one hand, you are free? Or the children say, I'm independent. Leave me alone. I'm 21. And then when they are in trouble, they call their parents. They need help from their parents. Yes, right or wrong? Do you agree with me? Yes, sister?
I think a parent's role in being the educator never ends. I don't think, obviously kids are gonna do what they're gonna do, and if they get to a certain age, like that's even more so the case. But like if you go forth and you say like, look, like you can't drink, and this is why, like, and explain the reasoning behind it, and beyond that, like.
But some of them do not explain. If a father or a mother tells her daughter that, I don't want you to go somewhere else to study, because I know you, I raised you. You are a good girl, you are a good boy, but I fear the influence of bad friends on you. But the children, they don't understand this point. They would say, then you don't have faith in me, you don't trust me. It means you don't trust me. No, not that I don't trust you. I trust you now, but maybe tomorrow I can't trust you. I trust you as long as you are in this environment, in this family, because we are protecting you. But once you go far away, who knows what will happen? So who should win at the end? Should children succumb to their parents, or should parents give up on their children and say, this is your life, your future, I'm not going to interfere anymore? Which one is the neither? So in this case, in this specific case, you have a daughter, she's 21, but you fear, you as a mother who raised her, and you went through these stages in your life, you lived in this country, you know the peer pressure on them, you have some fear. You trust her now, she's good, she hasn't done something bad so far, but you don't want her to go somewhere else out of sight completely, because you fear the influence, the bad influence. How? That is a hypothetical situation. Usually they don't pass away soon. Unless they give them hard time, they pass away. No, but in this situation, she wants to go for 2 years, 3 years. She got accepted, she has a grant, and she wants to go out of town. What would you say? Yes? Mm-hmm. I like this answer. Compromise. A middle point between both of them. Compromise. Both have to compromise. Both have to come to terms and accept a middle situation. This is one logical answer. Yes, brother.
I was going to say, I think for us children, it's important to understand that even if you feel like there's a generational
most parents are wise, but not all of them. Not all of them. Sometimes an age, an older person does not make him necessarily wiser than a younger one. Sometimes they have experience, but still that does not qualify them to make the right choice every time. Sometimes children make a better choice. Sometimes. So this is not it is a norm, but it has many exceptions too. What else we add before we conclude this discussion? Are you prepared to be parents? Really? How do you prepare yourself to be parents? Huh? It's not gradual, slowly?
I mean, you can never fully prepare yourself because, I mean, how do you prepare yourself to bring other humans, be responsible for other humans' life? And you're just being responsible for yourself. That's such a difficult thing, but I mean, I just think that you need to be at a certain level of maturity, a certain level of, you have to sustain
When do you get to that age of maturity and responsibility? What age is the good age?
There's no objective truth to that, I think, but I think you do have to be financially comfortable, before you introduce a kid into your life, because you can't be, it's not, I mean, you don't want to introduce a great deal of pressure into your life while also having to worry about a kid as well. So I mean, having like a steady flow of income is really important. I think you have to be pretty resolved with where you are in life. Like you can't. I think you have to be steady in your in what you're trying to do with your life in general, so that they feel secure, and so that they don't feel an instability in their life.
Many people ask me to help them out finding the right spouse for their children. Many people ask me in the community. And this is not an easy task. This is a very burdensome task, very difficult task. I have difficult time finding someone for someone else. And I find out, correct me if I'm wrong, that many people, including the females, are very hesitant to get married. Psychologically, they are not prepared for it. Though they know marriage is good, and it is something that you must do at some point in your life, but they are very worried about this, about getting married. Very worried. Very worried. Some of them, they come to you, bum, 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 their hearts is really, palpitating, bum, bum, bum. They tell you, I'm very worried. So why they are worried about marriage? Tell me why. Why you get so much worried about living with another person? Is it because of what you see around you? Because the rate of divorce? Is it because of the betrayal that you've seen in your family, with some members of your family and friends? Is it because men are not real men nowadays? They are not responsible? Is it materialism? Is it what? Is it a freedom? You want to enjoy your freedom more and more? Is it religion that makes your marriage, more restrictive or restricted? Which one is that? Why they are worried? Tell me, share with me. Sometimes religious leaders, they just encourage people to get married. Oh, people, tanakahu, tanasalu, get married, make children, this, that, at a younger age. If you go to other countries, they say you are 17, 16, you have to get married. The only way to protect yourself is to get married. But I don't say that. I never say that, because I have experience in this life. I've seen it around me. I don't tell people that if you have a problem with sexuality, then you must get married. Marriage is not going to solve the problem. So what would you think? Why they are worried? What is the most reason? Reason number one, that girls are worried and hesitant to get married. Let's listen to them and then we come to the brother's side. Yes, Sister Atiyah. Mhm. I agree with you, definitely. Because parents, when their kids reach the age of 24, 25, 27, they must get married for the sake of marriage. Because you should not still stay single. You must get married. It's a sin if you stay single. This is what they say. But I'm asking, I agree with you with this point. Therefore, they rush into a relationship. They want their children to get married even with the wrong person, as long as they get married. My question is why girls are worried about marriage? Because there is no good man in the society, no good treatment. Why they get worried about marriage? What makes them worry? For instance, I get worried about traveling because I don't want to lose my passport. This is my fear. If I lose my passport, I get stranded. I don't want to lose my wallet, my money. For instance, this is why I get worried about traveling. Why girls get worried about marrying? What makes them get worried about it? Yes? Mhm. Very true. Very true. But there is no way to solve this problem? How do we solve it? How do we get to know people better? There is a way or there is no way? Huh? There is a way or there is no way? Because some people say there is no way you can get that person unless you live with that person. But can you know him better before you get married or not? Spend time. How do you spend that time? Mm. So religion is a hindrance, because some people say, religion does not allow me to date this guy. Religion does not allow me to understand this guy. It's haram, haram, don't touch, don't see, don't think, don't, do. So yeah, this is what they say. They say Islam forbids dating. So how do I know this guy? How do I know him? So is religion a hindrance here, do you think? Mm. Mm. You are right. You are absolutely right. So how do we solve this problem of getting to know each other? What is the legal way, not legal, logical ways, reasonable ways, acceptable ways? How do we get to know each other better before we get married? Before we get committed to the other side, how do we get to know them? In a way that protects us too, because we don't want to get intimate and then after 2 months, one of them says, no, we are not for each other. We cannot be intimate. This is damaging. If you get intimate, you're going to damage yourself. Psychologically, you're going to be damaged and you're going to suffer from that relationship. The aftermath of it is very long, lasting on your life. So how do you keep the balance? You get to know the person very well, but you don't get intimate. Let's first hear and then from you guys. No. Let's really mention practical solutions. Practical solutions. Yes, sister.
Like, I know, like, Mormons, for example, they're very conservative and they, like, often get married young and stuff. And, like, for them, when they, like, date, it's similar to, like, what I've heard of, like, halal dating, where it's like you have, like, a chaperone there. Like, there's a third party there. And so you can still, like, get to know someone, but you're not, like, alone and you're not putting yourself at risk of, like, I don't know, giving into desires, I guess.
So the chaperone is present inside the room, the house, and also in the restaurant, in the cafe,
Yeah, it's like there's
everywhere.
it's like you're always at least like 3 people, and it's like you guys are all hanging out
But is
together.
this possible? Is this practical? If someone wants to chase you wherever you go, to Starbucks, to, to the restaurant, walking on the beach, you need someone else to be walking behind you, with you. Is this a dignified way? Having a spy, like China, when you go there, someone is following you. No, really, is this a dignified way? I'm just asking, believe me. I'm educating myself.
Well, I think it should be acceptable. Like if you're meeting up with someone at a public place like Starbucks, and you guys are just like acting as friends, and it's not anything crazy, then that's fine. But like if I don't know, you're going somewhere like a movie, for example, where it's like that's an opportunity for people to be intimate. That's when I think it's a good idea to have someone else there as a buffer and to kind of, you know, be there, or like at home, like have like
Or set some rules. Don't go into a private place.
Yeah,
Be in public. Always meet. You decide in the beginning that we have to meet. All the meetings takes place in public, not in a private. Is this a good way? And then in public, when you meet your future partner, are you going to know everything about that person? Discover his lives?
not everything, but you would be able to get like a better idea of who he is. Because I don't think you can ever like totally know someone.
What sort of things you should know about that person because you say yes to him?
Their values.
How do you discover his or her values?
You ask what their values are.
Only by asking? Verbal answers?
And also like the way they interact with you and the way that they interact with other people. Because you get a lot from like seeing like body language and stuff. 'Cause especially now, like so many people are texting all the time, but you can't like get to know someone only through texting because like when you're there in person with them, you learn so much about their personality and like what they stand for.
I've seen people who get to know someone overseas. We had this case many times in the community. Someone, she fell in love, she came to me and she said, I'm traveling to X country. I said, you go traveling to that country? That is almost 10,000 miles away from our shores. Why? She said, because I love someone and I want to marry that person. And they set the date for marriage before they met. Can you imagine? She's American, she's leaving this country, going 10,000 miles away to meet someone, and then they set the date for marriage. And they only got to know each other through emails, through, what they call it, this live FaceTime? FaceTime? Yeah, through FaceTime. I said, this is a recipe for disaster. Don't do that. Don't give commitment at least. Go and see the person, meet the person, but don't set a date for marriage. We don't know each other. We cannot know each other through FaceTime. So number one, the sister says, we get to know their values. What else beside that we have to discover before we say yes? Before we consider marrying? What else? Before knowing their values? Brothers, yes, please.
I think something important that needs to happen before you marry anyone is an honest discussion about your expectations of them. Of like, what do you expect of me as a husband? What do I expect of you as my wife? Like, what's that going to look like?
But you said an honest discussion, but The problem is when someone is dishonest, he would not give you the right answer. How do you know that the answer that he's given me, how do I know that these answers are genuine? It comes from his heart. How do I know? This is the problem. We are very generous when we give promises. Very generous. Oh, I'm going to, make you the Queen of England. I'm going to buy this house. I'm going to be the nicest person. I'm going to help you out. I'm only for you. I'm this, I'm that. Very generous in giving promises. Very generous. Both sides. Very generous. But once they begin their marital life, then everything falls apart. This is what we see in marriages. Yes, sister, you were going to say something?
I think it's really important to know their family, which is kind of a catch-22 because, because when you marry someone, you marry their family. You're especially in our culture where we're very family-oriented. And I guess I kind of have a question as to how would you do that? Because you're not supposed to talk to boys or whatever. You're not supposed to get to know them or how are you supposed to bring them home to the family to introduce them?
I don't know. Don't ask me. Yes, Muhsin.
I think that reputation is an important thing we haven't discussed yet, in which oftentimes you're able to find somebody that knows that person or a family that is.
You mean you ask about that person? Is that what you mean by reputation?
Yeah, you get to know their reputation within families that know them.
Listen to what Muhsin is saying. Muhsin says reputation is important. So we ask about the reputation of that person. Is that enough? Many people come to me and ask me about X person. What do you think? I say he's good. He looks good. He comes to the mosque. I see him in Ramadan. I see him celebrations. Nice. But then I really don't know about his private life. I don't know. Many people are misleading. Misleading. We come to the mosque. We are very civilized, well-mannered, kind, educated. But are we the same outside? Including me. Are we the same outside? I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. So reputation sometimes misleads. Many people come to me. They say, Sayyid, you know this guy? He betrayed me. I say, really? He has a good reputation. I never seen him doing something wrong. They say, no, you don't know him very well. His public is different. His public image is different than his true nature. So, yes, you may ask for references, but references are not enough. Not enough. Yes, Amir.
And I think that's why it's important to not rush into it and to do it over a long period of time.
Exactly. I was on the phone just before I came into this room with someone who wants to marry someone else. I said exactly what Amir said. Don't rush into this. Don't rush into this relationship. Take your time, even if it takes 1 year to get to know each other. In the past, they would get married within 3 days. 3 days, believe me. Today they see the girl. Tomorrow he sends his mother to ask for her hand. After tomorrow, they have the wedding. Believe me, 3 days. Nowadays, it takes 3 years. This process takes 3 years to get to know each other.
And I think it's only so long that you can keep up a pace. If you spend more than 3 months with the person, they're eventually going to show their true nature. They're going to eventually show their true temperament. So I think it's good to keep up those public visits with each other, going on for I would say at least 9 months. Just so
I agree. I agree with this. Don't rush into that. Let the relationship be respectful, okay? It's in public, even if people know about it, no problem, because this is my future. I want to protect myself. I want to make sure that I'm marrying to the right person. So even if it takes 9 months, go out with that person, get to know him, because you must know him when he gets angry, when he's unhappy, when he gets rejected in an interview. You must know the people, not when they are at their bests. When people are at their best, they are happy, they are smiling, they are generous. Yes, Ibrahim.
There's this new app called Minder.
Minder.
Tinder, but for Muslims. Can you give us your thoughts on
I know nothing about it. What is it? Tell me about it.
So basically, Tinder for Muslims. Tinder is when you swipe right if you like it.
Tender or Mender? Which one? You all have that app with you? Can someone download it for me, please? So what does that say?
Well, Minder
What does it do?
Minder is just a bootleg version of Tinder.
Mm.
It's just for Muslims.
Mm.
So you see a picture of a girl or guy, if you think he or she is hot, swipe right. If you don't, swipe left. And then if you guys both swipe right, it's a match. And then you start talking from there via text message. And that's how you guys get to know each other.
I don't like that app. It's really misleading. It's misleading. Social media is dangerous. For me, social media is not the venue to get to know people. It's very misleading, very, very misleading, social media. You know, sometimes I receive questions on my Facebook that I don't even know the password to it. You know, I have a Facebook, I don't know the password to it. I don't manage it. I don't answer these questions. I don't get involved in social media. So I don't think this app is the right thing. I think physical meeting, when you go to such sessions, other sessions, through families, through friends, or through your personal encounter, this is the safest. Because these social media are really misleading. You waste your time, you talk to someone, after 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, then nothing happens. Or you find out, I'm with the wrong person. So don't waste your time. This is not a practical way. Yes?
Jeff, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about the parents' input when it comes to marriage?
It's very important, the parents' input. The parents, first of all, they love their children, number one. Number two, they think of the interest of their children more than they think about the interest of their own selves. Always. You will find out that soon. When you get to the age of 40, you will see yourself working for your children, not for yourself anymore. Up to 40, we work for ourselves. After the age of 40, we work for our children. Whatever we do, the work, the money, the job, the house, the car, everything we have is for our children. So definitely their input is very important. Do not overlook the input of your mother, your father, because as you said earlier yourself, they are experienced in this life. They have some experience and they love their children and they want their children to be happy. So when your mother says there is something wrong with that person, when your father says open your eyes, you are not doing the right thing, then listen to them. Listen to your parents. They don't want you to be single. Your mother wants you to get married very soon. Your father wants you to get married faster than what you think. But you have to listen to their opinion. Because they care about you, they respect you, they love you. They love you. You know, when you get divorced, some kids, they get divorced, they are not sad for their own divorce. Their parents become much more sad. They don't get depressed. When they are involved in divorce, they don't get depressed. But the mother gets depressed. The father gets depressed. So be careful. Their input is very important. Let's take now, thank you for this beautiful discussion. It's an eye-opener for all of us. We learn. So if you have any questions, I don't know how much time we have left. Where is the director? How much time? Okay, so if you have good questions, controversial questions, don't ask me about music, halal or haram. This is, I answered this 23 years ago here. I don't want to repeat the answer. Ask me about something really very useful, and you may not get a chance to ask it somewhere else. So ask me, I am here. I said I come here once in a blue moon. Once in 10 years, I'll be here. Once in 10 years. So ask questions that you may not find the answer for it elsewhere. Some questions you can find the answer elsewhere. Yeah, so if you don't want to speak it out loud, you can send the papers here, or Brother Ali Muhammad can read the questions for me. So we'll take a couple of questions from this side and a couple of questions from that side, inshallah. Yes, Sister Noora, please, yes. Yeah, you can ask. Is it a question? Okay, go ahead, please. Organ donation is something very good, very noble, no doubt about it. However, there are some restrictions on this, and I tell you why we have restrictions, why some scholars say don't give your organs to anyone. If you can have the choice of giving your organs to people who deserve it, then you must do so. But if you have no choice, and this is the case here in America, you have no choice, you just give permission for donation, and whoever deserves it, they'll give it to him or her. Islam says, only give your organs to those who are going to preserve its purity. Meaning that they do not, because these organs, this body is a gift from God, and it's a trust. God has given us this gift. He says, I'll give it to you. Take care of it. Don't pollute this. Don't contaminate this. Don't put intoxicants into this body. I want you to use it for a good purpose. Maintain this body. It's like a friend who is giving you his car and he says, please take care of it. So we have to take care of this body. So if my stomach, my liver, my kidney is given to someone who's alcoholic, who drinks alcohol, then I'm not taking care of my body. Then there will be a problem here. I'm going to be asked about this. I'm going to be held accountable for this because I gave part of my body, which I suppose to keep it always clean and functioning, I'm giving it to someone who's spoiling it, who's not taking care of it. So we have a problem here. Islam is not against organ donation. Islam is against messing up with your organs. Whether you do it or when you donate it after your death and someone else will do that. This is the problem. Okay, so can someone read? Okay, I'll read that. Okay, this is a very typical question of our young generation. What do you do as a child if your parents don't approve of a marriage based on the individual's race and ethnicity? So someone loves you, but he's not from your village, he's not from your color, he's not from your culture or nationality. And this happens in this country. In this country, we have no control over our children. Yes, if you live in your country back home, then the one who asks for your daughter's hand, for your son's hand, is most likely someone from the family. First cousin, second cousin, neighboring village. But in America, it's a mixed culture. How many nationalities we have here? God knows how many, if you count them. At one time, I counted the nationalities that we have at Friday prayers. We came to 25 different nationalities. 25 in this place. In this place, this small place, 25 different nationalities. So here, you don't have control over who's you're going to marry tomorrow. It could be white, it could be black, it could be yellow, it could be Chinese, it could be... God bring the hearts. Bring the hearts together. Someone who's born and raised in India would marry someone who's born and raised in China. Someone who's white would marry someone who's black. God connect the hearts. But for parents, it's very difficult to come to terms with this. For your parents, very difficult. Why? Because they are not American, they are immigrants. You are Americans. You are born and raised here, you go to school, you get mixed with others. But your parents cannot accept this. There is no problem with that if you ask me, because it asks about my opinion. As long as there is no future conflict, as long as you two guys who come from a totally two different cultures and backgrounds, you try to understand each other. You try to compromise over each other's cultural aspects of life. If you are willing to compromise, if you really respect the other cultures, if you are not narrow-minded, if you are not racist, if you don't put yourself above others, because some nationalities, they think that they are above others. You know, in our community, if an Afghani wants to marry an Iranian, her parents will say, no, we are above them. In the status, Iranians are there near the moon. The Afghanis are, you know, near the clouds, for instance. This is a reality. I see it. Believe me, I see this. Come with me, live with me, and you will see these things. Or, you are a good man, alhamdulillah. Say salawat for him. We have exception. For every norm, there is an exception. And this is one of the good exceptions. Okay? So, if you have no problem like that, you are not racist, you see people are being equal, coming from different backgrounds, but they are equal. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The most virtuous of you in the eyes of God is not the Arab, not the white, not the Iranian, not the American. Atqakum, the most virtuous. The most virtuous. If you have no problem with that, then I think cross-cultural marriages are good and healthy. Not only good, it will enrich your humanity. It will enrich your experience. You get to know other cultures, other people. You get to know the good things. And this brings people together, believe me. This will bring people together. If people start marrying from each other cultures, people get to know. You know, when you love a girl from a different culture, you are going to love her, her family, and her country too. You're going to respect her country too. And the same thing she does to you. She's going to respect your culture, your country, your parents. So this is something good as long as you are a person who treats people equally. You do not look at yourself as being superior to others. The second question is the LGBTQ community is everywhere now. Why it is haram to be homosexual? Wow, this needs a whole lecture, believe me. And the pizza is waiting for us. So I gave a presentation on this 5 years ago. It's on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, I gave my opinion on homosexuality. Yes, they are everywhere, but also God is everywhere too. And God says, I have my norms, I have my laws that I introduced to you. Don't mess up with my laws. Tilka hududullah, be careful. I am wiser than you. I am merciful to you. I don't send people to hell for nothing, doing nothing. I want all people to go to paradise. I want all people to be happy. But there are certain rules and regulations we must follow. So this is in a brief, my opinion. What is your opinion on tattoos and piercings, halal or haram? They are neither halal nor haram. It depends. If your husband says, let's say, I want you to tattoo yourself in certain places on your body. I'm the only one who sees these tattoos. Then it's okay. You show them only to your husband, no problem with that, as long as you don't hurt yourself. But if you do these tattoos for public auction, public display, then there is a problem with that. There's a problem with that. If you do the piercing for your husband to see them, or for your wife, let's say, then it's okay. But if that is happening for the public, it's not good. In a brief, I would not do these things, because I would replace them with other things of entertainment. I would do with other things of entertainment. I would not go with the culture. I would not allow any culture to dictate its rules on me. I would not do that. I will withstand my position. I have my own values and principles. I don't compromise them. I don't allow peer pressure to dictate on me what to eat, what to drink, what to wear, what to carry with me. I don't. I think we have to have a strong personality, strong identity. We should not give in and succumb to the pressure of the culture, to the pressure of the society. This is how you become a leader. A leader who is not the one who follows the majority. A leader finds out if this is a good cause, worthy cause, a just cause, a true cause, I will advocate that. Whether one person is advocating it or the entire people are. I don't care about the numbers. I care about whether this case is good or bad. So this is regarding tattoos. Can I have one more or? Okay. So how do you, 0 to 7 age period, how do you discipline a 3-year-old? Is listening a learned behavior, or if you married into a male stubborn family, is something inherited? It's a bit complicated question. Or if you married into a male stubborn family, is this something inherited? My friends, I know I got it now, alhamdulillah. Sometimes we inherit the DNAs of our families. So family is stingy, then they bequeath stinginess to the next generation, to their children. A family is generous and kind, they bequeath this generosity to their children, okay? We learn from our parents. We watch them, we learn from them. But that does not mean that I have to live with that character for the rest of my life. I'm stuck with that character that I inherited from my forefathers for the rest of my life. I can change myself. God has given me an ability, enormous ability, to change myself, to change my behavior, to break free from my ancestors' heritage and culture and customs, to break free. I mentioned the story a while ago that Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, the brother of Imam Ali, God said to the Prophet, I love this guy because he has 4 good qualities. So the Prophet said, Ja'far, what are these good qualities? Ja'far said, Ya Rasulullah, one of them, I never drank alcohol, wine. In a society where wine was like water today, available in every corner, I resisted. I resisted the peer pressure. I didn't drink wine. The Prophet said, why? Why you didn't? Everybody was drinking. He said, because I knew that it would compromise my reason. I would not be able to think freely. So I stayed away from it. He's a leader. This is how you make yourself leader. This is leadership. Leadership is not when you give in to the norms of the society, to follow people, to follow the majority, to follow the trend today, to try to be to try to be like them always, to join them. This is not leadership. Leadership is to look into this. If it is right, I will do it. If something wrong with it, I will resist it. How often should I correct my in-laws' behavior, environment surrounding my children? Example, bad language, music, if I can't financially live on my own. It's very difficult. If you can't have an independent residence, home, and your in-laws are not behaving themselves, then God would help you. I don't know what to say. It's really difficult. It's difficult to live in an intoxicated environment and keep yourself and your children, especially the young ones. They pick up, you know. I know some families, they take their kids to the Middle East, to some countries, where the full language is very common. They stay there for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Those kids, they come back and they repeat the same language here. They pick it up from there. They have good receivers, mashallah. Picks up and they memorize, and then they come back and they repeat these sentences. They stay there only for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So it's very hard. I don't know. I really have no answer to this, other than saying, may God help you. If I've traveled over 30 miles anywhere, is Salat Qasr? No. If you travel within the city, it's not Qasr. If you travel outside the city, going to San Diego is outside. Going to LAX is inside. So if you travel outside, it's not Qasr. If you travel outside, it is Qasr. What is the status of a married woman in Islam that cannot bear children? It seems that it can't bear children. What is her status? I don't know. What is her status? Her status that she doesn't have children. I don't know what to say. If she can't bear children, it means it can't conceive. Yeah, bear children. Yeah, it's difficult. So she can adopt. She can adopt. Many families, they have adopted some good children. She can raise them. If you can adopt an orphan, that would be a great job to do. An orphan who has no care, no protection, whether it's from America or if it is possible from elsewhere, and raise them. Inshallah, you get thawab for that. Thank you for paying attention, for listening. May Allah bless you, inshallah. And may you always be happy and prosperous. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.